Hi there, welcome to the channel. I'm Beatrice. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today's class is a Yin Yoga full body release. For this class, you're going to need 2 blocks and a bolster. If you don't have the 2 blocks, you can do the whole class with the bolster. If you don't have the bolster, you can use the 2 blocks only. And when you're ready, grab your props and come practice with me. We're starting this class in child's pose. So come up to your hands and knees and come to the back of your mat. Bring your big toes together. Let's start with a nice wide-legged child's pose. So bring your knees wide and sit back towards your heels. You can already begin to use your blocks here, prop them under your sitting bones in between them and the heels. And take your arms forward. We'll be in child's pose for 5 minutes. Using child's pose in the most comfortable version that you can get to ground and come to the practice. So begin to take your attention here to the breath. And for me in child's pose, the usual place where I come to feel the breath is the belly. So that gentle rising, falling of the belly with the breath. Noticing that movement on my thighs. Another option is to just focus on the nostrils and the air coming in and out, or even the back of the body here. And begin to bring your attention to the whole body, because we're not focusing on a specific area. Noticing the whole body to begin with. And then if there is an area that calls to you, you're welcome to go there and observe what's happening. Noticing how you feel today, not just in the body, but also in your mind, your emotions, your energy level. And adapt the practice according to how you feel today. And there's no need to set an intention. However, if there's something you would like to work on within yourself or within this practice, you're welcome to set an intention for this practice. On your next breath in, begin to lift up onto your hands and knees. Staying at the back of your mat and just bringing the knees in line with our hips and the hands under your shoulders, spreading the fingers nice and wide, going through a few cat and cows, breathing in, lifting the tailbone, running up the spine, opening up the chest into cow, and breathing out to let the head drop, rounding down the spine, tucking the tailbone down. 2 more times here with your own breath, 2 or 3, however many you fit in this time, doesn't really matter. Just moving through the spine gently before our next posture. And then breathing in to come back to your straight spine. Coming to melting heart posture, so staying at the back of our mat, keeping the hips over our knees, and just taking our arms forward towards the top of our mat, letting the head drop down to the ground or onto a block. And you can relax your elbows, you don't have to keep much effort here, or actually try to keep the least amount of effort possible. Noticing if you can really keep your hips up to the ceiling or the sky, and let the head come down to the ground. Noticing any areas where sensations might arise here. And slowly beginning to drop back towards our heels, but this time keep your feet and your hips and your knees all in line. You can bring your knees a little closer together if you like, and take your arms either side of your body so you can let the spine round here. And once you're ready, unroll up to seated. Let yourself come all the way up to a straight spine and come to sitting on your sitting bones. Take one block in front of your at the front of your mat if needed. We come into Dragonfly. So your feet are open wide as you can. You don't have to be as wide as the mat, but come into the widest position you can. If you need to, you can bring your soles of the feet to the ground and have big space in between your legs and fold in between instead if there's any tightness, especially at the hamstrings. Otherwise, you can also bring 2 blocks under your knees to keep a soft bend there, or you can use the blocks just under your head for support. So you can stay upright if there's already sensation in your inner thigh, at the back of your thigh. Try to keep your feet nice and soft. If it's not enough, begin to come forward towards the ground. So make sure that you're comfortable here with your sitting bones on the ground, or even on a blanket if you prefer. And come down, and you can come down all the way to the ground. You can come to the hands, to the forearms. And when you're ready, settle in your posture. Remember to let your feet be soft. Begin to take yourself gently off of this posture. So take your arms out if you have them in towards you. Press the ground away to slowly unroll up to your straight spine. And take your time here to bring one foot at a time back to center. So you can hold the back of your knee with your left hand. So the back of your left knee, lean back, take that foot to center, and then hold the back of your right knee and take that foot to center. And take any movement that feels good here, or you can simply be here in stillness and observe how it feels to come out of the posture. And for our next one, we're coming down to our back, using our bolster to support the posture. So this is a modified version of saddle, in which I like to use a bolster to support my back. I also like to use a block to keep the head in line, or a little bit higher than the spine, and my chin tucked in towards my chest. I don't always use the block, but I will be using it today because I have a little bit of neck pain, and so that will support my neck. So the bolster is up lengthwise against our low back, and then the block is at the top of our bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you can still access this posture. So starting with the feet flat to the ground here, and a low back against our bolster, or you can simply be here without the bolster. I'll start with my right side, so I bring that the right foot around towards the outside of my right hip. And we can stay here, we can just stay here and hold our knee and take our breaths here for as long as we're staying. If this is not enough, we can come down either towards the ground or towards the bolster and stop at our hands, or go down to the forearm, or if you have that bolster, coming all the way down. I'll be having my head on the block, but you can have it all the way down to the bolster as well. And you're welcome to straighten that left leg. However, especially if you suffer from any type of low back pain or discomfort, I'd rather you keep that knee bent because it gives a bit more support to the low back rather than straightening down, where it can give a bit of pinching to the low back. So choose your option and settle. Make sure that you're not clenching your glutes or even your calf. That's what I was doing here on my left leg. So notice that. Begin to bring yourself off the posture. So you can press yourself up with the forearms first, then take your palms to the ground. Lean to the left so you can release that right foot around. And because we have kept the ankle extended, you can flex towards you and spread your toes as well to come the other way around if it feels good. Maybe take a bit of a circle, and you can straighten and bend the knee. and coming the other way around. So this time the left foot comes around, the right foot is flat to the ground. And coming down to your version of this posture, and it can be a completely different version from what you took on the other side. It's also really nice to use the bolster here because it helps you kind of come out of that hunched posture that a lot of us keep when we're seated or driving or working at a desk. So it's quite a nice posture to take this at the end of your working day, for example. So bringing some opening to the hip flexors, to the chest, to the thigh, all that stuff that is in a contracted position when we are seated. And begin to lift yourself off of this side as well. Leaning to the right, so you can take around that left foot. And again, you can circle the ankle. You can flex the foot towards you and spread your toes. Bend and straighten and bend the knee. And then remove the block, actually take it to one side with the other block. And you can actually use the bolster as well for this one. We're taking supported bridge. So if you want to do it with a bolster, you're welcome to do that. Otherwise, take your two blocks to the side. And I like to take two because it's a lot more stable and I don't have to worry too much about keeping the pelvis stable and sort of not falling off the block. But if you want to do it with one block, you're welcome to do that. So bring your feet as close to your sitting bones as you can. Press the ground away and lift off with the hips. Take one block underneath. Lift again and take the second one, or you can stay with the first one. You don't have to come to two blocks. Settle onto the blocks. And you can either stay here with your knees bent, especially as I mentioned before, with the knees bent in saddle. If there's any back pinching, stay with your knees bent. Otherwise, you can straighten the legs and come a little deeper to the front of the body. And really let your shoulders settle away from the ears. You can have your hands on your belly or your arms out. If you have your legs straight, begin to gently bend one knee at a time. So slide it up through the heel. And then take some time and come out of the other side as well. Bring both feet flat to the ground. And then squeeze your glutes so you can lift the hips off of the blocks. Take one block away and take the other. Slowly lower down to the ground. Hug your knees in for a moment. If there's any movement that feels good while you're hugging the knees, I like to sort of gently rock them forwards and backwards, bringing a bit of gentle movement to my back. But if you prefer to do other things, take other movements, or simply just hold your knees in, you're welcome to do that. From here, let your knees drop out to the left and your right arm open out with your right shoulder firmly on the ground. And you can either have your right elbow bent or your right arm straight, whichever version works for you. Adjusting the hips for where we want to feel the sensations through the side body and into the low back. There's no right or wrong, really. Begin to lift the knees up, readjust your hips if needed. Then take your knees out to the right and open out the left arm, so just going the other way around. Bring your knees back up, your hips bring the hips back to center, and take your knees once again into the chest if that feels good for you. Easing off the twist. And it wouldn't be a full body sequence without a little bit of love to our side body. So when you're ready, take your legs down to the ground, straighten them down, and walk your feet to the left. Stop whenever you feel sensations through the right side of the body. You can add on the upper body as well, so the shoulders and the head. You can lift the right arm, take shoulders and head to the left, and either hold your wrist or hold your elbows. And then if you need even more, cross the right ankle over your left or vice versa, depending on what works for you. Softening into the shoulder, the jaw if you feel any tension there, through the legs. Uncross your ankles, walk your legs back to center, and take your head and shoulders back to center as well. Readjust for a moment. Take your arms down, and I like to bend my right knee, so the same side as that I'm dressing in the posture, and drop it down to the side, just to release into that right side before moving to the other side. So when you're ready, straighten the right leg and walk your feet to the right. Maybe take your head and shoulders also to the right, and you can hold your elbows, or you can hold the wrist. Cross your ankles if that feels good for you. And this time you can look out to the left as well, resting your head on the upper arm. Noticing differences between the two sides. And when I suggest you to feel differences, I don't just mean in intensity, but also in location. So different sides can feel completely different, as in also where you feel the posture. Moving back to center, one bit at a time, and dropping that left knee out. Relaxing our arms down. And taking ourselves down to Shavasana. And you can straighten the legs down completely, or if there's that pinching, bend your knees and have your feet wide as a mat. You can also bring the bolster under your knees, that's really nice. Let your arms open out wide, palms facing up. And take a moment to let go of any last bit of tension. Let it melt to the ground. If you'd like to, you can go back to the intention you set, if you've set it at the beginning. Or those little areas of tension you may have found scanning your body at the beginning. Noticing differences. Softening the body deeper and deeper every time you breathe out. Please stay here for at least another 5 minutes and really let your body sink into the ground. I'll leave you here. I hope you enjoyed this practice, and if you did, please like the video and leave me a comment. If you are not subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell so you get all the videos as soon as they come out, and share with your friends and family if you enjoyed. Thank you very much for practicing with me today, and please join me again soon.